viewers, welcome to Akshaya Vlogs and Crafts. Today we are going to see chapter 6. Let's continue. Maragadamma returned to her house and resumed her usual life. Sometime in 1951, while she was sitting in a courtyard, she heard the voice of Ramana Maharishi saying that two grandsons would soon be born to her. He asked her to name the first one Ramana and the second one Dandabani. Ramana, the baby, was born in June that year, and Dandabani followed on the 20th August. One more major Ramana experience was to come, and it took place about a week after the birth of her grandson Dandabani. On the 28th August 1951, the day of the Gayatri Japa, Amma told her cook that she would manage the kitchen and that he could join the male members of the family for the japa. The cook was a Naishtika brahmachari. He went upstairs after placing a large vessel of water on the stove for making coffee. Amma went into the courtyard at the back of the house, where also the puja room was situated, to decorate the puja room with kolam or rangoli. The courtyard was the place where, on bhajan days, they all sat together and performed bhajans. There was a platform there built around two trees, and when Amma opened the door into the courtyard, the sight which greeted her eyes froze her into a statue. In front of her was Ramana Maharishi, sitting on the platform in his usual pose, holding Dandabani's hand. He spoke to Amma. "Are you afraid of me, thinking that I am a ghost? Please come close to me. I have come to talk freely with you, as you desired when you met me last time." He asked her to clasp Dandabani's hand tightly and not let him go. Amma prostrated to the Maharishi and sat near him. He explained many philosophical things to her and initiated her into the Gayatri mantra. Being a woman, Amma felt hesitant to recite the holiest mantra, but the Maharishi made her repeat it along with him. Much to his upatesa, however, was transmitted to Amma through his piercing look. Once again, Amma prostrated to Ramana and tried to touch his feet. She could not do so. Ramana Maharishi laughed and told her that her gross body could not feel his subtle body. He blessed her by placing his hands on her head, that she could feel. The Maharishi then explained that he could touch her. The vision then vanished, and she lost count of time. She was transported to the highest consciousness. In her very position of prostration, she went into samadhi. That was Friday. Amma's husband and his sister came to the kitchen at about 10 a.m. to have coffee. Amma was not there, and they found the water boiling in the vessel. They thought that Amma must be in the puja room. Instead, they found her in the courtyard near the bhajan platform in a prostrating position and unconscious of the world around her. She was carried inside and given injections, which however failed to revive her. The next 2 days also, Amma remained in the same condition. On Sunday morning, the bhajan party arrived as usual. Thirupugal Mani asked where Amma was and was told that she was unwell. He insisted on seeing her, and so a chosen few were taken upstairs. They saw that Amma was in a state of samadhi, and they started singing Kandar Anubhuti, an Arunagiri Nadar composition, in a loud tone, interspersing it with cries of Haro Hara. Amma slowly opened her eyes. Seeing her husband and the others seated and she herself lying, she tried to get up but could not do so. They all asked her not to bother and slowly helped her to a sitting position. Mani then applied kumkum on her forehead and prostrated before her. He queried her about her state of consciousness and her experiences during Samadhi. A song burst forth from Amma's lips, in which she explained that she climbed 6 steps and saw Annamalai Jyoti, the light of Arunachala. When she went further, there was nothing. She merged into the nothingness. When they wanted more explanation of her experience, she could not say anything because as soon as she thought of it, she again lost consciousness of this world. Later on, however, through the grace of Bhagavan Ramana, she wrote a number of songs called Shakti Malai, giving a description of all the 6 states of consciousness. The Tirupugal Mani mentioned here is the same man who had first published Maragada Amma's poems. Tirupugal Mani had a guru, Pinnavasa Swami, who had promised him just before he passed away that he would return and give him darshan in some other form. When Maragada Amma first went to see him, it was the day before Shivaratri and Tirupugal Mani said he was busy. He asked her to return the following day. That night, Tirupugal Mani had a dream in which his old guru appeared and ridiculed him. I promised I would come and give you darshan in some other form, and when I did so, I asked you if you would be able to recognize me. You told me that you would recognize me in any form I took. Yesterday morning, you not only failed to recognize me, you also sent me away, saying you were busy. On a visit to Sri Sailam in 1949, Maragadamma had been initiated by Tirupugal Mani into the Shadakshari mantra. When they met later, Maragadamma asked if he remembered the incident. Tirupugal Mani replied that he had never been to Sri Sailam. In that moment, she realized that Muruga himself had appeared to her in the form of Tirupugal Mani and given her the initiation. Having received this initiation from him, she accepted him as a guru. When Tirupugal Mani realized that his former guru had given him darshan as Maragadamma, he in turn accepted her as his own guru. Thus, there was a strange situation of each of them being the other's guru. In the early 1950s, Maragadamma became something of a minor celebrity in Madras. Bhajan groups were formed to sing her compositions, and one of the songs, recorded by a famous singer of the era, sold a huge number of records. Her house was besieged by visitors, so much so that her husband asked her to go and temporarily live with her family in Delhi to give him a receipt from all the activity in his home. Through the yogi, Ramakrishna had taken up residence in Maragadamma's body in 1949. The developments of the next few years seemed to be part of the natural progression of her own life. The passion for Muruga and the composition of songs praising him very much her samskaras rather than his. However, in the early 1950s, the presence of Ramakrishna took over and directed the body in a wholly different direction. In the early 1940s, while he was still occupying his former body, Ramakrishna went to Swami Sivananda Ashramam in Rishikesh and asked to be initiated. When Swami Sivananda refused, Ramakrishna went home and initiated himself. This pending desire for an association with Sivananda Swami came up in 1954 when Maragadamma went to Rishikesh and met Swami Sivananda. The jiva of Ramakrishna immediately asserted itself. He became a disciple of Swami Sivananda and took the desired sannyasa initiation from him. Swami Sivananda was delighted to have such a great devotee come to him. He gave Maragadamma his own robes and sandals as a measure of the respect he felt towards her. The desire for sannyasa was wholly Ramakrishna's. Maragadamma still had a family and her husband was wholly opposed to the move. In order to satisfy all the parties, Maragadamma Ramakrishna took formal initiation from Swami Sivananda, but then he sent her back home to live as a sannyasini in a own home in Madras. Ramakrishna fulfilled his desire and Maragadamma was allowed to remain with her family. In the next decades, it was Ramakrishna who was directing operations. At one point, Swami Sivananda even asked Ramakrishna, the tenant of Maragadamma's body, to perform a Kriya ceremony for the departed soul of Maragadamma. Amma was asked to perform religious rites to a previous soul. As instructed by Swamiji, Amma, that is Ramakrishna, performed the Kriya ceremony of the soul of Maragadamma, and the double that had been pestering her till then vanished for good. Ramakrishna had taken over so completely he wanted to remove all traces of the body first occupant. To some extent he succeeded. Consider this account he wrote in his association with Swami Sivananda. To be continued in the next chapter. Thank you, viewers. Bye bye, viewers.